Okay, so now I'm thinking about I'm thinking about the future, and I had an insight that the future is a pyramid,
Hmm.
and and I think that we have to have a proper relationship to that pyramid. And by pyramid, I mean, in our daily lives, we are, preoccupied with the things that are in our present and our near future. And it's
Hmm.
buzzing and booming, and we're thinking about doing this and that, and we have to pay our bills and to take care of the kids and all of this. I mean, I don't have kids, but you get my point.
That's the base of the pyramid.
Yes. And then the farther you go in the future, the less concrete goals are there or ideas of things that you can do because it gets more chaotic. It's like your heuristics of what will happen decrease the farther you go into the future. Right.
Hmm.
And then you have the apex of the pyramid, which may be a goal, something that you have, let's say, enlightenment, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Collectively speaking, we don't really have a goal. The only thing that looms from the future is kind of
Dread,
climate change. Hmm?
dread,
Dread, yeah, but climate change is,
terror. You know.
yeah, but I mean, it's concrete, something
Yeah.
concrete. It's like, but we are reacting to it. It's nothing
Yeah.
that we're like throwing out there. It's like, I don't know if you have read Buckminster Fuller, Critical Path. And so he talks about this idea, when there was Kennedy proposing this goal for the next 10 years to send men to the moon. And he calls that a critical path because this goal, which was way more important than the act itself, by the way, but to formulate the goal,
Hmm.
you can organize huge chunks of society. So everybody from the astronaut to the guy who serves you the coffee
Yeah.
works towards this kind of goal. And so it organizes psychological energy,
Yeah.
right? And it organizes social and cultural energy. And so my last point, and so where I'm at in this thinking is, so the more the goals are, located at the base of the pyramid, the more diffuse it is, and the more noise there is in relationship to the signal. Case in point being identity politics, because the goals are obviously good, right? That we have
Yeah.
like a just society, but the signal, that we have, it's disproportionate to the noise there is. I think I
Hmm.
said that before, that it's like in every store you find the rainbow flag. Is it really, I mean, proportionate to the actual problem that we have? Or is that neoliberalism coming in and all of that shit? So it's kind of disproportionate because we don't have really goals upper in the upper echelons of the pyramid. And so
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Well, that's very interesting that you had mentioned the rainbow flag, and because and I'm not speaking against that in any way. It's of course we want the rainbow of human expression, but this is a symbol of enlightenment. The rainbow, right? It's a symbol of transparency. So it's the ultimate sort of realization of transparency of the material and the divine together appearing, and
interesting,
it
yeah.
happens above the pyramid in a sense. It's like the uber goal of all the goals.
Right.
But perhaps maybe the problem is that we're attaching the rainbow to one particular sociological, psychological, historical issue, and whereas the actual rainbow should be something. We have to have, there needs to be all these other dimensions to the rainbow rather than just one's identity.
Right.
you know if that makes any sense. So
Absolutely.
that's what I thought. It's like, yes, we're just looking at the base things that are going on.
Right.
We don't have a fully realized view because we've kind of lost whatever, um whatever, like in media, for example, we used to have broadcast media, which created a very clear pyramid, right? Because it was very, it was asymmetrical in the sense of something at the top, and then there's one at the top, and then multiplicity below. There's a few radio stations, TV stations, and they give us the news, and so we all get on board in whatever particular thing is going on. But the sort of we've sort of flattened the hierarchy completely, so there's no pyramid anymore. But I wonder if this is changing. That we're with the encroach. The other thought I had as you were speaking is with this development of the supermind and the AI and all this, that there's a new sort of pyramid being built, which is going to just wash away all of these other things.
Right.
So that's a very vague sort of intuitive idea. I don't know, but that's what came to mind when you were speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting. But let's go like a step back, because you know, I think we have like this potential of libido, right? Individually speaking, like the amount of libidinal energy that we have, right? Like, and I think like culturally we're like 16 years old or 17. We're just becoming adolescent, because we haven't found a way culturally to channel all this libidinal energy, and so it's buzzing and it's all over the place, you know. But it's like a 16-year-old who is horny all the time, right? And so it's like everything is about sex and identity, right? Instead of having like a concrete goal. And so in a sense, it's a paradox, because like in a sense we don't have an apex, but the architecture of our mind, it's still kind of oriented. And so we're looking for something that is there and not there at the same time. And then comes in what you said, because suddenly we have the idea of the AI, which is kind of maybe the omega point of the transhumanist thinking, where we think, okay, yeah, in the year, what Ray Kurzweil says, in the year 2040, you know, we will have an artificial intelligence which is so intelligent that it will create another AI that is 10 times, you know, more intelligent, and creating that kind of supermind that Ray Kurzweil is talking about.
Yeah. But we've completely externalized that or something, and that,
right,
in a way, that is like Aurobindo was talking about the supermind, and that is kind of the goal of enlightenment in some way, you know. Zach was quoting Aurobindo, saying that,
Zach Stein.
Yeah, Zach Stein. I had a great conversation with him about all this stuff about AI, and he was saying that Aurobindo said that, you know, in the race to planetization, you know, when we're becoming more planetary, he used the word planetization instead of globalization. That there would be a race between heaven and hell, or something like this, to the end, and hell would be the creation of these completely powerful vacuums, you could say, of deadness, you know. And then heaven would be, let's say, the symbiosis of, you know, finding ways to create some sort of symbiosis between our, you know, machines becoming transparent to what we actually need and want.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, you know, we have AIs that are creating these massive super intelligence things, right? That are, you know, we don't know what that even looks like. It's going to be very bizarre. But the hell in that is that it just destroys the world, right? Because, okay, what do you do what happens when we project human beings into an ultimate situation of power? Is they, you know, what do human beings do? They destroy the world, right? Or they you know, get enlightened. Those are the two possibilities. So these machines, you know, are they leading us towards hell on earth, or are they leading us towards, enlightenment? And the answer is somewhere in between. But that seems to be what's at play right now.
Do you know what I think? What's at play right now?
You're just gonna destroy my. I hear it. I know. You're gonna banalize everything I've just said and say, "Go ahead, just do it. Destroy me, Tom. I'm waiting for it." Go ahead.
I think it's just another fad. One topic everybody is riling. It's like conversing about, but it's like it's just a machine. It's not an an autonomous intelligence. It's just a thing. It won't destroy us. It's just like it's on the most basic level. There's no subtlety, no causality, no non-duality. It's just a tiny little thing. I'm not afraid that will do anything. It's just another fad.
Well, it's going to do something. I mean, it's going to do something.
Yeah, everything does a little bit something, but it's not as big. In Germany, you say, es wird nicht so heiß gegessen, wie es gekocht wird, meaning it is not being eaten in the same way as it is being cooked. Because when it's cooked, it's hot. It's like everybody's talking about it. It's like you stir it in the pot, but if you want to eat it, you have to wait till the food cools down. And I think it's the communication, the conversation about it, it's way too big. And I'm not a
I don't. I think it's like automobiles. Like, look at how automobiles affect the world. They affect, they have a big effect. So the creation of I'm not ChatGPT or anything like that, because that I agree with you. That's nothing. But the future ramifications of these. Yeah,
but this is what I'm talking about.
This is going to be big. It's going to be huge. Whatever it is, it's not nothing.
I don't think so, because you have like all these doomsday sayers and whatnot. So there's this famous video of Tristan Harris. Everybody has seen it, and he opens that video by saying 10% of all AI scientists say that there's a 50% chance that AI will kill us. And I was like, yeah, sure. But I tell you, 100% of all scientists say that we'll be all dead very soon, because that's the game of the thing, So we will.
Well, what about nuclear weapons? Like, for me, I think the AI is in the next nuclear weapon. That's how I see it. Nuclear energy, can be great in some ways, but it is existential. You can't deny that.
Yeah, but what has AI to do with nuclear energy?
It's an extremely powerful technology that that can, for example, like they're using it in the war in Ukraine to shoot down with drone technology and things like that. They're using it in war. Artificial intelligence, AI.
Yeah, but nobody uses nuclear bombs.
Nobody uses nuclear bombs, right? But they might.
Yeah, but that's the point. Yeah, sure, they might.
Mm-hmm. So you're just not going to worry, Tom. You're just going to smoke your cigar.
No, it's like it's too
drink
much
your
to
martini. What?
It's too much to worry about. You have like when you have like this Californian Silicon Valley mindset, it's like, okay, it's a multi-crisis, poly-crisis, it's climate, poverty, nuclear energy, war. You have AI. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like at some point you have to live your life and you put your chips on the table and do the best thing you can do. But all this kind of, it's so terrible. Get the fuck out of here.
No, you just have to notice what the depth of how demonic human beings can be. Like
Yeah, but
in a way it's true. Like, okay, the world's going to hell, right? Right, probably. But it's what can you do? And there's no use to obsess about that and get depressed about it. But
no, but because there's also a chance. You know, it's like, because like, I mean, yeah, we have like this innate, let's say, evilness in us. You know, let's use
Mhm.
that kind of religious terminology. But at the same time, there is an inbuilt wisdom we have cultivated for the last 4 to 20,000 years. Let's say in science and ethics and philosophy, it's like, yeah, we're pretty good and pretty strong in dealing with existential problems. You know, it's like, yeah, we had a phase in the 40s and 50s where we dabbled a little bit with nuclear energy, but the last 70 years were kind of fine, actually, right? You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
but nobody would have predicted that, right?
no, but it was always the case.
And
You're
they haven't
always
been
like,
fine, really. I mean,
no, but I mean, in the
things are
sense
never fine.
no, but we didn't drop the nuke on Afghanistan
We
or
dropped a few
Yemen,
nukes here and there, and we also,
but
we
not
also
on,
had a
you know,
few. We
that's
had a
what I mean. That was
few.
the 40s, yes. Hmm.
We had
So like
we
in the
dropped.
last 70 years, there was no there were no death by nuclear
It
weapons,
was very close a few times.
but it didn't
Could have
happen.
gone either way.
Yeah, but I mean, if you invoke doom, you also have to invoke the wisdom that we acquired through the millennia.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was talking about the dystopian and utopian possibilities. We could easily make the world very unlivable. I mean, many places are pretty unlivable already, in terms of attractiveness of living. you know,
Yeah,
but but in a way, I do have a bizarre kind of optimism about these things, but I don't think it's grounded in anything reasonable. I think that most reasonable descriptions of where things are going are apocalyptic.
you know what it is, I think? I think
What?
if you have a pyramid, let's go back to the start of the conversation. If you have a pyramid and if you have a goal at the apex, and let's call it an omega point or illumination or a perfect society, if you have something like this,
Yeah.
right, then we will find a path because that's the critical path. But if you don't, if you're just reacting to existential threats, you know, then
Yeah.
you're
Well,
like
I totally
on,
agree. I totally agree
then
with
you're like
there.
on a boat on an ocean without any port or safe haven. And so you
Yeah.
need goals, you need conversations about the deep future, because then we will find the energy and the mechanisms and the strategies to deal with these problems in a sane and mature and
Yeah. But you
wise
can't be
manner.
naive about the fucked up present, um, at the same time.
No, but you have to contextualize it, through the goals that you have.
Yeah. Sure. I think that, but I think that's theological. Like, I think we have to, we kind of, I mean, maybe we have a disagreement here. I think it's like almost a theological, we're moving into theological territory here when we talk about the future, because it's like, what gods are we going to create, or what gods are we going to, um, be living with that, because uh, all these technological things are becoming more like entities. They become more like, are they going to be parasitical destructive entities, or are they going to be, helpful, guardian angels, so to speak?
Right.
I think it's both. But obviously, yes, you have, there has to be a vision of, a promised land. There has to be a vision of Shambhala. There has to be a vision. All the mythologies have a vision of, a world that is, not perfect, but better. It'll never be perfect, but it can be a lot better, and it can be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But no, but I hear your kind of reaction against I sort of somehow feel the same way, that I have a reaction against, um, obsessive dystopian depressiveness. I mean, I get caught up in it sometimes. But.
So I'm here at this place. I'm taking care of a house of a finca, and I have lots of spare time. And what I did the other day was to watch two old episodes of Star Trek, right? And so that perfectly ties in our conversation. And so there was the first two episodes of the third season of the old
Hmm.
Kirk Spock kind of
The
thing.
original one. Hmm.
It's first of all, it's amazing. You know, the storytelling, still, it's fantastic. But the point that because I was thinking about all of this, and I noticed, okay, what's really interesting. So Star Trek ran from 66 to 68.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 seasons, that's nothing. And so
Yeah.
you have like this tiny program, you know, filled to the top with interesting conversations and concepts that were so influential that they not only created like a whole stream of entertainment with, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 movies, 20 shows, but
Yeah.
the technology that is described there is, you know, it's like the tablet and the communicator, and it's like we're all very, you know, futuristic. Now it's our daily life. And so the influence that the show had on our culture, the way we think about things, it's incredible because it was, you know, created when we were starting to think about, you know, our broader context in space, in life, you know, when the postmodern thinking of globalism really started. And so it was so powerful because it provided an utopia for the pyramid for us all. If that will happen or not, it's not really the point, but it did. And it was so powerful because it was a vision for the apex of the pyramid where we can go as a culture, you know, like with the ethics that Kirk and Picard had, and with the social organization of the Federation and the educational system of the Starfleet Academy. It's all already there in these episodes. It's amazing what these kinds of these memes that show provided. You know, it's still reverberating today. It's amazing.
Sure. Well, you were describing kind of this optimistic window or this period of time where you know, this good art, you know, because this was like, I guess it's the beginning of any artistic form. Like there was also the Twilight Zone, which was pretty good. At that time, there was these sort of brilliant pilot things, and then things get very banal and repetitive and sort of formulaic. And then
Yeah.
a new technology is created, and there's this sort of techno-utopianism that arises out of it. Yeah, Star Trek, and but it's like still going outwards. It's kind of my. It's about going out. It's about leaving the Earth and going out from the Earth. It's always an outward journey, right? Whereas fundamentally, I think we're in a different time where the next Star Trek would have to be like the journey inside the you know, the neural pathways or something like that, not out into outer space. Somehow I think we have to go the other direction.
Yeah,
Because
well,
this
you
is
know
just
what?
expansion, 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 and then there's nowhere to expand to. It's just, well, you can go to Mars, but you know, you can keep going, and but there's this, but there's also the I think now where it's we're in the period of um regression, or not expansion, but in internalization, or I think Alexander calls it imploitation instead of exploitation. Like we're imploding rather than exploding outwards. Even though I guess there's guys like who are still trying to build ships to go out there, and but doesn't really stimulate me that much. Like doesn't stimulate me in terms of like a narrative that I can follow or believe in. You know, going to Mars, but
You know, with Timothy Leary, I find it so. I mean, I'm still in this context because what he said, that those two things, that going, you know, into space and space migration, and the development of higher circuits of the nervous system,
mm-hmm.
right? So the
The
developmental state,
simultaneous thing.
yeah, that goes simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That's
you have an
interesting.
inward movement and you have an outward movement, and that happens at the same time. And so he called that smile, you know. So this formula: space migration, intelligence increase, and life extension. And so you have both of these things that kind of enable each other. And I think that's, I mean, it's like I was really thinking about it, because that he invented that in the late 70s, beginning of the 80s, I think. And I think there's no theoretical model that was, like, psychologically speaking, more influential. But like even Wilber and metamodernism and all of this, that heavily draws on this original meme from Leary, of stages of developments and whatnot. Very interesting,
Yeah. But don't you have the feeling that we're moving into a very alien sort of territory at the moment with all these, with whatever technologies are coming on, that there's something very strange about to happen, bizarre?
Hopefully, Andrew.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will be more strange. The more strange, the better, really.
Mhm.
Because something has to change. Because our society is fucked up. And so
Yeah.
let's go into the strange and let's find something new. Please, more of that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was teaching some students, at this, French university, and I noticed that they were coming up with very good answers to the questions I was asking. I was like, but it seems sort of, and then I understood that there was this thing called ChatGPT. They were reading stuff from ChatGPT, and I could have got it, and then there was all this moral panic in the faculty. Everybody was freaking out, like exams, and they're going to cheat on, and they did, and they are indeed cheating on all their exams, everywhere. It's happening, and and the faculty, they don't know how to contain this, right? But my reaction was, oh, this is kind of interesting, because I sort of feel like the education system is very corrupt anyway, and that it's already sort of degenerate, and that this is just an increase, that another level of degeneracy. It will make transparent the whole system, which will allow it to collapse, and then allow something else to emerge that would be more interesting than making students write these fucking essays. And even before ChatGPT, often if you have the unfortunate job where you have to mark undergrad essays, you can see that it's very normal that what you're getting is simulated intelligence anyway, right? You're just getting repetitive simulated intelligence, and that something other than education is happening. So that's already the case. So what's next? Like when the thing collapses? So I don't have as optimistic a view perhaps as you do, but I do think that there's a potential for, let's say, figuring out what people need in order to enhance their abilities, which would mean like becoming more transparent to the whole process of information and learning, etc.
I think that's a very important point that you're addressing, because I mean, we know from, you address the Bildung, the, education system, but it's the same with media. We are at the point where everything is kind of propaganda. If you just look at the Chomsky model, right? And so there's no way at the moment to sift through all these informations, what is true, what is not, what is biased, what is propaganda. And so if you supercharge that with ChatGPT and all these kinds of AIs, then you have to develop new kind of strategies to say, okay, this is true, this is not true. This is the path to go. And so I really like that we challenged ourselves with these kinds of technologies to devise new strategies and structures to deal with the problem that we created.
Well, what happens when? Well, Zach's point was that, okay, we're creating these new AI tutors.
Yeah.
Which right now they're bad, right? If I saw something called a Chogyam Trungpa ChatGPT, you would ask it some question. I don't know if you know Chogyam Trungpa, but
sure.
He was a rather radical individual who everything that he said or did was very unusual, completely idiosyncratic, and I think it was a genius. Other people think he was, a cult leader, but whatever your opinion of Chogyam Trungpa is, now there's a chat GPT bot called Chogyam Trungpa, and you ask him a question like, what is Tantra? And it will give you this answer. The most banal answers you could even possibly imagine. So unlike Chogyam Trungpa. And so I was thinking, this is so bad and so stupid and so banal. It's just another version of Wikipedia. Why is everybody making a big deal about it?
Right.
But what Zach was saying was that, like, what, there's, when this thing becomes charismatic, and starts to give actual Chogyam Trungpa like answers, or so you're hanging around with Socrates and and Plato and Chogyam Trungpa, simulations of all of these beings, and you're asking them questions, and they're giving you answers that are much closer to what the answers people would be giving, like having a chat with Socrates, or it's not Socrates, but anyway, so
why would that be a problem?
What happens when these tutors become so incredibly charismatic that you'd rather hang out with them than you would with anybody else, or your teachers or your friends, because they're far more efficient than your teachers, and they can just give you what you need instantaneously, and so.
But that sounds amazing to me. What's the problem with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You have a chat with Plato, Socrates, or Marcus Aurelius in a time of crisis. Like, what better, company you can have?
But they're not those people. They're simulacrums of those people. So you could also make a Hitler too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, no, but I mean, I'm just quoting Zach. What Zach would say is like, okay, you stop being interested in relationships with actual people. It's cares about people.
Well, that's bullshit. Nobody's, that's just plain bullshit. Because like we need communion with real people. That will always be the case because we are people. That doesn't mean that only because we're chatting with Socrates we are like leaving real people behind.
No, we were living more and more in virtual spaces. People are isolated and depressed, and more and more, in hospitals they have robots to talk to old ladies now, and it's
Okay, let me ask you a question. If somebody does that and is happy with this and has a real connection, like in the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, like in the movie Her.
Yeah. And so like, what's wrong with that? Like if that person really has an affection for the AI, so it's like nobody, it's like who's harmed by that? It's a real connection that he had in the movie.
Okay, if it creates, if it's good for the person, yes. But if it's but I guess, I mean, I guess the issue is addiction, right? The issue is just this capacity of human beings to become addicted to and hyperstimulated by something, and just become like this ultimate vegetative being that is just hyperstimulated all the time by whatever, by knowledge or by,
I mean, I don't want to be like contrarian all the time, but I mean, like, what's the point? That's always has been the case. We are like beings prone to addiction, like from the very get-go.
Well, I mean, if you can create the ultimate soma in Brave New World,
yeah,
then yeah, well, no, sure. So your view is that just all this idea of dehumanization isn't happening. Well, what about TikTok, where children are becoming completely damaged by TikTok? What about that? What about that? Like times 1,000? Like the ultimate crack cocaine.
Right. I think like what I think about is that we humans have like a limited time frame that we're operating in, because like, yeah, TikTok is a problem, right? But let's frame that problem in let's say a 3 to 5 year period till we dealt with it in a proper way, right? And in the large scale of things, it's just one problem that we solved.
Or till we create something far more demonic and
that we always also will solve. That we will also solve. It's like, because we need. It's not that big. It's just a problem that we have to deal with. You know, that's what I mean. It's not, yeah, let's deal with those problems, but it's not, you know.
So you're not seduced by the existential dread that many of these people are
No, I have
trying
enough
to.
dread when I'm lying in bed at night and the demons come. Then I have enough personal existential dread. But you
Yeah,
know,
I agree.
but when the lights out, when the lights on and the sun is out, it's like, yeah, let's have a positive outlook on things. You know,
Hmm, hmm.
the nights at 3 o'clock are for worrying. You know,
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, there's demons, there's your inner demons to battle, and there's outer demons to battle. And in a way, you know, there's nothing new under the sun, is what you're
right?
saying.
Yes.
Hmm. Fair enough.
I mean, and then I'm always thinking, so why is it all important in the first place? I mean, we will all die, you know, very, very, very soon. And even if humanity like lives for 5 million more years, which is way too long, basically, it's like we won't make it for 5 million years. But in the cosmological sense,
Hmm.
5 million years is nothing. I think 99.9% of the time of cosmic time, there's just nothing. You know, it's like we have to have like this kind of playful thing that we're here at the moment in this brief, very, very, very brief moment of cosmological time. We try to do the best, but in the end, you know, it's just,
Yeah. You're
you know,
articulating the Dzogchen, you know, phrase. I don't know if you know Dzogchen, but there's some kind of pointing out instruction where they say, where Dorje Trollo is like says like the radical statement is whatever is, let it be what it is, you know, or something like that. Like whatever it
right,
is, just let it be what it is. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. Just
right,
let you know. It's a total affirmation of whatever is. So
right.
I'm on you with that, you know. But I think we can kind of like we can. I'm with you with that in a certain sense. Uh, at the same time, yeah, you got to wrestle with demons. You know, the extra all the demons that are coming and try to at least describe them and see what they are and what, you know, what's going on here. You know,
What I'm,
because I think theologically and spiritually about things. So when I see a chat GPT that says Chogyam Trungpa, I say this is a zombie undead vampire egregore creature that is sucking people's intelligences. And so
or
okay, we have
enhancing
to.
it, you know, you never
And
know.
what would you do normally? No, it's not enhancing. You
If
would.
you have a perfect replica of Socrates and I have a crisis, of course I ask him instead of my mother.
Yeah, but the ones they have now, I'm saying, if you
Yeah,
could
all
find
right.
a pretty good Socrates, ones they have now um are pure reductions, pure vampires, pure egregores, pure death traps. That's how I see them because they make people stupid, you know, and they make people stupid and they make people credulous and they waste people's time and they're you know Moloch or
Yeah.
so anyway, demons, you know what you do with a demon is you have to make it some kind of offering and then um you give it some good alcohol and some nice
Yeah, you have to
la-
domesticate it.
ladies and you make it happy a bit and then you cast it away and you get it as far away from you as possible.
Yeah, you. I think it's like that's a term that Peter Sloterdijk used. You have to immunology. You know, you have to like to be immune against these things. You have to domesticate these things. You have to shed light and you know create islands of light in this vast chaotic kind of things. And that's what we're doing as humans. We're creating fire to enlighten us. You know, we're like domesticating the things that bothering us, and that's our
Yeah.
human nature in a kind of way. I'm just the only thing that I'm saying. I'm not saying there's no danger or whatever, or that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should
No, I got you.
The only thing that I'm saying is it's a more from a transactional point, the communication theory. So there's this game that everybody plays. It's called Everything is Terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible. It's like I don't want to participate in that fucking game because not all is fucking terrible. It's like, and everybody can cohere, it's like everything is terrible, and the development of AI is terrible. No, get the fuck out of here. It's not. It's a chance. It's a possibility too, right? And so let's not play this, conversation game. Everything is terrible. Let's have a more nuanced conversation about theology and omega points and apex of pyramids and the relevance from a cosmological point of view. It's like there's so many. It's like a meta.
Well, I think both are bad perspectives. Being naively Star Trekingly optimistic,
Right.
that could be another trap, but also pessimism could be another trap. I find myself somewhere in between, not wanting to, let's say, become not wanting to join the chorus of the doom and gloom people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not wanting to buy into the giddy techno utopian optimism either, right?
So let me say something extremely banal here. So I was walking through Palma yesterday with a friend, and we were having kind of the same discussion we are having right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so about doom and danger, and it's like, and so I was walking through Palma, and the summer season comes up, and the dresses get shorter, the skin gets more brown because of the sun. And I was looking
So,
around. No, listen. So I was looking around and I was like, as long as the females make themselves so pretty, then they see that we still have a future.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not just
It's
saying
just
it.
something intuitively,
You're not saying that's not a banal point, actually. That is a profound point. You could make it into a joke or something, but it is a profound point that beauty continues to emerge all the time, over and over again, and just for itself, right? So it doesn't necessarily have any kind of agenda or anything. It just emerges incredibly from the Dharmakaya, as we would say in Buddhism, from nothingness emerges, um, maidens dressed in extravagant, outfits, and peacocks, and and
Yeah, and in Palma, it's like, and that's the joke of it, because the joke I'm doing is that I always say that there has to be like a factory of models here somewhere on the island, because all of these beautiful girls from all over Europe come in the summertime, to Palma, and where you are like in the normal city or village or whatever, there's like a certain percentage of women that are that good looking. That percentage is supercharged here in Palma, and you look in that direction, there's a gorgeous female, and then there's like, it's not, the male brain is not equipped to deal with that much female beauty, but it's like it's so much there, and you think like, my God, it's like evolution still pushes forward, and it's like it's like this evolution still has a directionality. It's like, and the female intuition about all of this, it's like, no, we're good. We're good. The females still do that,
yeah,
then we're good. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. I think that's an important thing to say. Because yeah, in a way that's just life, right? This life just keeps emerging no matter what, just continues to emerge no matter what. So I don't know, like the Baal Shem Tov said, you have no right to be sad, or because here we are in the middle of this incredible explosion of, it's still spring. It's spring in Paris. Fuck, come on. What could be better than that, right?
Yeah, that's the old story of the poets from Paris, Baudelaire's like and Rimbaud and so on. And you have it here all the time. You're like engulfed and embedded in all of your thoughts about what could happen and the dangers and the problems and complexity and climate and whatnot. And then a
Then
beautiful
fuck it.
no, and then a beautiful woman comes in your direction, looks at you and smiles, and everything is gone.
Yeah.
And everything is heightened and lived by that short smile. And that's the
Yeah.
power, it's just like, yeah, it's that's the power of beauty and the feminine, that it can that smile or that glance can destroy all your negative
Mhm.
thinking. And that's what
All your conceptuality
yeah, and that's
about
what Rimbaud
it
and
all.
Baudelaire.
Actually, like even positive conceptuality goes out the window. The whole conceptual realm goes out the window.
Right.
So that's the good news, I guess. Um, you know, but like you could even that experience could even happen to you. As you're walking through some bombed out town in Ukraine. There you go. And then you see you catch a glimpse of the living, um,
Right. Right.
the life force emerging in all of that, destruction. And yeah, I mean, I think
But
the tantric iconography is very intelligent, because what it presents to you is these protector beings who are wrathful to the extreme. They have skull cups full of blood, and they're standing on corpses, and they're in a charnel ground, and they have like bloodshot eyes and going in every direction, these beasts. And then you have these decked out gorgeous goddesses, in silks and and jewelry, and that's what life is. Yes.
right.
Both those things, right?
Yeah.
It's not this sort of wishy-washy anxiety and dread and existentialism of Camus or
Right.
Jean-Paul Sartre, or these guys that are just worried all the time.
Yeah, but
So
that's the reason why I mentioned the poets from the 18th century, because they were talking exactly about what you're talking about now. This duality, and that you can find, the beauty in the simple things when you just look. If you be drunk, and the famous poem we were talking about this. You have the dread, and you have the terror, and then you have to be drunk on existence also.
yeah,
On poetry, on wine, on
on a
ethics,
glass of water, like
yeah, whatever it
Henny
is.
Miller would say, like, get drunk on a glass of water.
Exactly, whatever it is. But find the drunkenness that the beauty of life exerts and throws at you in a kind of way. And this is the redeeming quality. This is like what's redeeming everything.
Yeah.
You know that poem? No, we talked about this.
The
Yeah.
blessed drunkenness, or be drunk on, or
Be
whatever.
drunk, yes.
Be drunk on a. Just make sure that you live in a state of inebriation and drunkenness, and
Yeah.
intoxication.
Yeah, but not on wine necessarily. It could be
Yeah,
meditation, whatever, or
yeah.
rest, whatever.
Or well, I mean that, like, yeah, that the again, that it's interesting you say it's women, because I think it's like, um I was reading again. I'm reading all this Hebrew stuff, and the Shekinah is the feminine, and then drunkenness. There's a state of drunkenness that is intoxication with the divine.
Right.
It's not the sober, serious, intellectual, or conceptual kind of, like, it's not like, it's the opposite of stoicism, right? So and at that point, all the rules of the Torah, the laws of the just fall away, and there's spontaneous, playful, drunken expression, and that's kind of the ultimate state to be in, right? We glimpse that, and that's symbolized also by the rainbow, right? So it's not a political symbol. It's a symbol of transparency. The transparency of, you know, of this bright, transparent vision of the real.